All right, all right, all right. It is saying I'm live, but you guys know I need to check to see. Am I live in this thing? Am I live in this thing? So let me check. All right, I see myself and I am live, and make sure I can see the comments in this thing. All right, I can see the comments. So let's get into it. Welcome to the Unlock Your First Six Figures in Business morning show. I am your host, Shay Cannon. I am an award-winning fractional chief operating officer to some 7- and 6-figure CEO clients. However, I have created a program based on my framework to help you to stop struggling to get to your first 6 figures in business. And you can learn that framework in as little as 12 weeks. Okay. How about that for getting to your first 6 figures? All right. So this show is all about going deeper with our blog posts from our blog talk that happens at 8 o'clock. Right. And so this week, the blog is all about mindset. Y'all know I sit and I think over the weekend, what is going to be most impactful for you? And what I have thought about was last week, we started on mindset. We actually kind of talked about we talked a little bit about imposter syndrome last week, right? So when I sat down over the weekend to think about what would be most impactful this week, I thought, let's go deeper into mindset. I've never really gone that deep into mindset, even though mindset is one of the most important things you can do with your life. Right? Your mindset determines how far you're going to go with anything in life, and especially business, because we tend to, as entrepreneurs, feel a lot of doubt, feel a lot of pressure, feel a lot of instability. We feel like somebody, just in the South, we call it CAG, right? We feel like somebody has just kicked us out from under our feet, kicked our feet out from under us, I should say. And so we live with a lot of this stuff because most of us entrepreneurs, the business is literally us, and we are literally the business. So when we experience failure in business, we feel like we're experiencing failure as a person, failure in life, right? And so mindset is even more important when it comes to business. Because I specialize in taking service-based businesses to their first 6 figures in revenue, what I know is a negative mindset is very prevalent amongst the people I serve in particular, right? Because until you hit that milestone, you don't even feel like you have a real business. And that's how you talk to yourself, right? I don't feel like I have a real business. And so this week, we're going to talk about negative mindset, and we're going to show you how to overcome it each time, okay? So the first mindset that's a negative mindset is fear of failure, right? Now, when we talked about pricing last week, we talked about fear surrounding pricing that sometimes comes from imposter syndrome. But what I'm talking about is fear of failure. I'm talking about that perfectionism that you're hiding behind when really you're just scared to get it out there, right? I'm talking about that thing that stops you and makes you hesitate from getting your offer out there because you're afraid of whatever, right? And what I wanted to explain to everybody, and I hope you guys really internalize this more so than you internalize a negative mindset. I need you to know that the very definition of entrepreneurship is trial and error. It's trial and error. It's figuring out what works and what doesn't work, doing more of what works and doing less of what does not work. That is literally the journey of being in business. That is literally the journey of making it to success, right? And so what I said was, I need you to reframe. I need you to stop seeing things as failure, okay? And see those things as feedback. Feedback. It's not failure, it's feedback. Anything that you've ever done, quote unquote, wrong in your life gave you information. And that information was, oh, it's on my shirt. Don't do that, right? Don't do that. Do it a different way. So what you should be doing is keeping accounting, and you mark that off. That's not the way, right? I can mark that off. That's not working. That's not the way. What's the next thing? You should not be stuck right here and self-identifying with that's not the way, I'm not the way, that what didn't work, I'm not working. No, that's not how it works, okay? So I need you to expect trial and error. I need you to eat it for breakfast, get the information you need from what went wrong, and get out there and do it right another way. We keep doing it until we get it right. That's why we're special people as entrepreneurs, right? Who else gives up what the illusion of stability where you know what day you're going to get paid, how much you're going to get paid, because they're paying you to make your dream die. But that's another story. But who else is out here working, 14 and 12-hour days and not very sure what they're going to make until they get their groove in business? We're special people. But a part of that specialness is we have to be willing to put things out there, get the feedback and bring it back and make it better, okay? And I need you to understand that that's all businesses do. We have businesses out here making billions of dollars that are known for coming out with shaky products. Microsoft, right? I never download the first version of Microsoft Windows, whatever, when it first comes out. Why? Because we know it's going to have bugs. Why? Because we know they put it out there to get us to tell them what the bugs are. They don't stop their release and stop themselves from making money just because something may be wrong. They say, you know what? If something is wrong, they'll tell us and then we'll fix it, right? iPhone, what they say is, okay, yeah, we're going to put out the version that we know works. We're waiting on more features. We sure are. We're working on features and we got some innovation, but we're not going to wait to make money to get all this innovation into the phone. We're going to release the phone as it is because the phone works, right? And that's another thing. Some of you need to understand what is your baseline transformation so that you can get that baseline transformation out there without loading it down with all this stuff that should be extras, that should be the next version, that should be the next iteration. Get it out there. If you can get them to the transformation in the simplest numbers of steps, that's the offer. Get it out there. Okay. So I feel like I've been going on and on and on, but I just need you guys to understand that this perfectionism, of not releasing things until you think it's perfect is hurting you. It's hurting your business. It's why you're not at 6 figures, right? If you simply have to ask for the sale more and offer things to people to make money and you're sitting there holding it and not offering it because you're trying to make it perfect, that's why you're not making money. And we have to get over this first negative mindset. Now, the solution was embrace vulnerability and adopt a growth mindset. And for me, growth mindset means when things go wrong, you go and fix it and you come back out there. That's growth. Think about over your life, right? What were you taught? When you fail, you were taught to get back on the horse, right? When you didn't do something well, you were taught to practice, right? That's another thing. We were, as children, were taught to practice. Practice makes perfect. Not sitting there doing it until you think it's perfect makes perfect. No, actually getting out there and doing it makes perfection. That's how you get better because there's so much information on the other side of you doing something. And it's just a theory until you do it. So focus on learning from the things that go wrong and see them as part of the process for success. Okay? It's not the stop to success. It's part of the process for success. And reframe failure as feedback for the direction on where to go and where not to go, okay? Because that's what we need. All right. We're going to get started with our guests here. We have Demetra and we have Heather, but we're going to start with Ms. Demetra. Ms. Demetra, what did you think about today's negative mindset to overcome? What is that? Fear of failure and some of the solutions. What did you think about it? Did you have anything you wanted to add to it? And do you have any questions on how to apply it to your mindset and your business?
Okay, good morning, everyone. I'm Demetra, my tutor helps me educational services. And today you have the honor of hearing my get out of the bed voice. But anyhow, Shay, when you published a blog like last night, I was right on it. I'm like, she done hit another good topic. So, yep, I suffered that, sometimes still do. And and a lot of times, we don't want to fail because people may talk about you. People may say something. So I came up with this little phrase, and I don't even think it's really mine, but I say, oh, well, thank you so much for pointing out my human qualities. This is so exciting. Let me go ahead and fix that for you. Or let me go ahead and fix that. Thank you so much for pointing that out. And, I said that maybe once or twice, and people were actually shocked that I, didn't get upset or wasn't embarrassed. And they actually had to chuckle at themselves saying, oh my goodness, that was such a good comeback to me.
Hilarious.
know,
I love that. I love that. But it goes to your mindset, right? It goes to, it's not a
yes,
stumbling block for you when someone says something like that to you, because you already know it's not perfect. You already know that you're working on it. But you also know it works. And so that's why it's out there. It doesn't have to be
absolutely.
perfect to work, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. And then the other thing is, if we wait for perfection, continuing to wait for this so-called thing of perfection, we're holding back somebody else from receiving a transformation. And
Yeah,
that's being selfish. And that is truly being selfish. So,
exactly,
yeah,
exactly.
I don't have any questions right now.
No problem. Thank you, Demetra. So, Heather, if you finish feeding your face on the camera, uh,
Sorry.
tell me your thoughts around fear of failure, how it's stopping you from making money as a negative mindset. You have any, well, I shouldn't say you as a person, just you generally, how it stops entrepreneurs from making money due to the negative mindset. Do you have anything you want to add to it? And do you have any questions on how to add the solution to your business?
So for me, I don't even really think it's a fear of failure. I failed before. I mean, okay, right? Like,
Mhm.
okay. I think mine is more, honestly, it's a fear of success, because if you succeed, then you got to do it again and again and again and again. And it's like, okay. And you and I have talked about this. I was feeling really discouraged and stressed out and everything in the last couple weeks. And then I like looked at how many people have signed up for my program. And even though it wasn't this big influx of, like people think, oh, you have a $10,000 launch, there's suddenly $10,000 in your bank account. Like that is not really how it works, a lot of times. And so for me to realize that I have 6 people who are signed up for my program, for me, it was like, oh, damn. Right? Like I didn't actually realize it. So for me, it's more of a success of, or a fear of failure, and also, or not a failure of success, but also of I guess keeping track. I don't know if that's the right phrase, but you need to keep track of the wins as they come,
Yes, yes, yes.
no matter how big or small. They don't have to be giant.
Yes.
Every win counts. And so if you can keep track of your wins, no matter how small, then that voice in the back of your head,
Mhm.
you can tell it to sit down and shut the fuck up.
You can. We're going to talk
So,
more about that later this week. We're going to talk about both of those things, actually.
excellent.
But today we're talking about fear of failure, and how it's in direct contrast of what entrepreneurship is, because entrepreneurship is the actual act of trial and error, right?
Yeah.
Owning your own business is about finding out what works and charging for it.
Yep.
And you can't find out without putting some stuff out there sometimes that don't work. And then you get that information of how it didn't work, and you either go make it better or you drop that thing and you pick up another thing, right? And
but I think a lot of people have a problem with that though, right? Like they're very adhered to an idea and how it should work. And so they'll just keep they'll keep at it thinking, well, maybe if I just do this one thing, it'll be different. And it's like, sometimes no, it's the whole idea is terrible. Like drop it.
I mean, maybe
something else.
Maybe so. But the thing is, if they're willing to try it again, I'm fine with that. You know what I'm saying?
Okay,
because the fear of failure is you're not doing anything because you're scared you're going to fail. Well, you've already failed. If you don't put it out there, you've certainly failed, right?
Yeah.
Because you've not done anything to get the feedback. So you can't even reframe it into the feedback and the information and the data that will help you to make it better, to put it back out there again, because you never put it out there, right?
That makes sense.
And so my main thing is about the people who I don't know. I was a psychology major, right? And I'm kind of good with human behavior, but I can't figure out at what point we as adults got to the point to where we were scared to put things out there because it wasn't perfect. When we were taught as kids that practice made perfect, right? We were taught as kids, you don't know if it's good until you get out there and do it, right? We were taught as kids that, the doing it is what made it worth it. The doing it is what made it better. We were taught all of these things. You fall off your bike, you get back up. You know what I'm saying? I don't know at what stage in our lives we got to the point where now all of a sudden we can't come out the door until we're perfect. We got to have the
Social
perfect
media.
makeup.
Do
Hey,
you think
Glow.
that's
We got to
Hey,
social
have,
media? Do you think
you
it's
wanted to
social
add
media?
something in, Glow?
yeah, I just want to say I believe it's all about, I believe it became like that when social media came about. Um,
Ooh.
and also and probably a little bit before social media. Because a lot of people usually doesn't talk about the hard work that they actually put in on whatever project that they may put out to the audience. They don't really talk about, oh, I failed 10 times and then this is my 11th time and look where it got me. They put it out as, oh, this is what I did, and you can achieve it the same way without, and they don't never tell the bumps and the curves and the fall downs or anything like that. So this is why me, as an example, sometimes don't necessarily have that fear of wanting, I guess, like that fear of failure, because I for certain sometimes I think sometimes it also has, I always put my zodiac in it because I'm a Virgo, and with Virgos, like, we want things to be
Ooh.
perfect.
Definitely perfect.
We want things to be perfect. So I'm actually trying to, my hardest to actually get out of that mind frame of me wanting to have things to be perfect, because I've noticed, like, anything that I put out, I get feedback about it. It can be an episode that I'd be like, oh, like, I don't even know if I want to put that out, but I put it out anyway, and I get good feedback. So it's me versus me. It's me, what I tell myself. I get up every morning and I affirm myself, and I have to believe in the affirmations that I also tell myself, because if I don't, I will continue to keep on feeling like that I'm feeling, which I'm not. So
Yes. I love all of that, Glow. I love all of that. I actually talk about affirmations later in the week, but I love all of that. And I do believe that social media was a heavy influence on it, but I do feel like it was around before social media, but social media has definitely heavily impacted, right? But I want people to understand, even like when Glow said people don't see the work behind, the success. But I want you to think about how before social media, people were saying that people were an overnight success, as though these folks hadn't been working at their craft for years, right? And you have to work on it and work on it and work on it to be good. But we did lose that, and social media definitely does not help at all. In fact, like you said, Glow, it makes it even more evident for even more people, not just celebrities, everyday people who are showing their successes. Nothing wrong with that. But people are comparing their day one to other people's year 20, thinking that they should be where other people are. And so they are afraid because mine doesn't look like theirs. And I'm not even 20 years in, by the way. I shouldn't put it out at all. So I love that me versus me. That is definitely the correct mentality to have, because you're only in a race with yourself to be better. That's it. That's all. But even in the race with yourself, Glow, don't let that Virgo take over and have you not putting things out because it's not perfect. So I love that. I love it. I love it. I love it.
yes, ma'am. I'm achieving that too, because I did what you told me to do in regards with the, with what I want to put on a t-shirt, knits or whatever, and I put it as a poll in the group. So I'm get ready to go see if there's any type of feedback on that. So I'm definitely learning how to get out of my own way.
Yes, I love it. Because that's essentially what it is, getting out of your own way. Mindset, period, is all about you getting out of your own way, because you cannot achieve anything that you think that you cannot achieve. And so you have to get out of your own way. So I love that. I love that. I love that. Shawana, thank you for joining us. We're talking about mindset this week. And today in particular, we're talking about fear of failure and how people allow the fact that they think it's not perfect, or people have said it's not perfect, to stop them from putting out an offer, to stop them from having a business, to stop them from making money, right? And we talked about that the solution to that is all about being willing to reframe failure as feedback, because that's all we're doing. Right. That's why we have beta versions. That's why we have introductory offers and all of this stuff, because we're putting it out there to get feedback. And so if you have to label it as such to get it out there, then label it as such. But did you have anything that you wanted to add to that? Or did you have any questions about how to apply it to your business?
Good morning, ladies. I was actually able to listen at most of all of it. We had a storm here, so, internet doing crazy stuff. I know what that felt like, and every now and then try to still feel like, right? But self-talk is real, self-talk is needed, and that's why we definitely have to have those things down on the inside. So when that stuff tries to raise up, because we're human, we're flesh, so things will try to get to us. It's only if we choose to allow them to take over. I was thinking about part of what all of the ladies have said so far, with Glow, even just saying the whole me versus me, it's the you versus you. And what I've had to learn, and I even get to tell people, is to go ahead and fail, but fail fast. All it is. I'm telling you, I talk to myself, healthy self-talk. Yet the whole thing is, you make sure if you're going to talk, you make sure you respond well. Make sure you respond to yourself. But fail fast, and go ahead and fail forward though. Don't fail back. Not that if you can't fail back, you get yourself up and of course dust off and keep going. With that, it is, and we have to be okay in that. So we don't talk ourselves out. We have got to take fast action. And so that is some of the things that I not only share, but I tell, take immediate action. You already know that. You could give me an assignment and you'd be like, okay, it's not perfect, but she sure put it out there, didn't she? Y'all already saw that, right? Because I've had to learn that is one of the hacks, to go ahead and put it out there. If you know you're going to take 6 months, if you already know you could do something quick, you better go ahead and make it and put it out there. You already saw, what did I say? Coming soon. Because I'm still working on, tweaking some things on the back end, but no, let you know that your girl is in the kitchen and she adding some eggs, flour, a little pinch of salt. But when you're making some stuff, and so that's the key. And taking some of our communities, our tribe, our people, the clients, taking them on parts of the journey. Because if you're at a 10, you can help them get to the 9. If you're at a 5, you can help them get to the 4. And that's part of it too. We have to be reminded, and I remind myself of that all the time. And I say that even in having this conversation with part of the challenge that you put out, and you told me, and since you've been doing the morning show, time for you to do that, Shawana. It's taking the people on those journeys, and it's maybe you can even help with some of that today, so to give few people some more tips of how to go ahead and do that when you're facing the fear. I do love what Heather said, and I know you're going to push it to one of the days this week about even the fear of success, because that's crippling as well. But it's like, maybe, okay, the fear of failure, you said that hack. What is something else to help for people to go ahead and start even showing their tribe, this is what I do. So that means this is, if nothing else, this is proof positive to show I get it. If I'm teaching you something I already know, but I'm showing you part of the times when I didn't have all 4 wheels, I was working on them 3 wheels and I'm still moving. Give us some more tips on that. I would love to hear your thoughts on that.
Not a problem. So the tips from the blog post about fear of failure, right? What's stopping you from getting your offer out there? What's stopping you and paralyzing you from doing things? What's stopping you from executing, right? Fear of failure. Solution is embrace vulnerability, adopt a growth mindset. And what we know is growth includes failure. It includes falling down and getting back up. That's growth. Focus on learning from the things that go wrong and see them as part of the process for success, right? And reframe failure as feedback so that you're getting direction on where to go and where not to go, right? And so that was the line of solutions. But one thing that also, I don't know, I'm not a very speak in religious ease a lot, right? But my father and I have a great relationship. And one thing I know about my father with the capital F, Happy Father's Day, is when God gives you a gift and he gives you something and you don't put it out there, you'll see that gift show up from somebody else. Every time. If it comes to you and you're supposed to do it, it's going to get out there. It just doesn't have to be you as the vessel. So you can wait and keep waiting for perfection, and you can keep waiting till you think it's the best, and you can keep waiting until you think people are going to be uber accepting of it, 100% accepting of it. What's going to happen is it's going to get out there in the world one way or another because it was meant to be out there. So that's another way of looking at it. But at the end of the day, fear of failure, you again, what is my quote? Perfection is illusion without execution. There's no way to get to perfection without execution. There's no way. There's so much more information after you get to do something, because what does education even tell us? Everything before the doing is theory. You still don't know. You still don't know. You ain't did nothing, so you don't know, right? And so fear of failure cripples a lot of entrepreneurs because they don't even realize that entrepreneurship is all about trial and error. It's all about getting the feedback and making it better. So our tech guru is on with us, Miss Leticia. Good morning. We're talking about fear of failure. Did you have anything that you wanted to add to that? Did you have any questions on how to add a better mindset around fear of failure to your business? And you're muted if you're talking to us, Leticia. There you go.
Good morning, everybody. I'm sorry I missed most of the discussion. I was traveling this week. I absolutely, okay, so I deal in tech. So a lot of times when people's businesses aren't moving the path they want, it's a fear of failure with the tech. So I absolutely agree that sometimes you either got to do it, find someone to do it, settle down in your mind that you're going to do it. But absolutely, when I look at businesses, this is what I always say to them. You guys get a coach, you get a CPA, but you got no tech help. Every business that you see out here, everything we use, Amazon, your grocery store, whatever you're using, they got tech involved. So it's almost impossible to get 6 and 7 and 8 figures without conquering the fear of the tech in your business. So absolutely.
Love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Well, it's Monday morning, y'all, now that we talked about our blog and gone into detail. And so what I would like to know is the question we usually talk about on Mondays. I forgot last Monday, but I'm back in the know this Monday. And that is, what is at least one thing that you're going to do this week to work on your business and not just in your business? And I'm going to go backwards. I'm going to start with Leticia. Leticia, what is at least one thing you're going to do this week to work on your business and not just in your business?
So this week I'm attending my mastermind conference, and I'm actually going to be present. Normally I'm not present. I'm not really repeating into myself. I have kind of put my clients on warning that on definitely Friday, do not try to access me because you won't get it. And Thursday, it has to be an emergency. Normally, y'all, I got a laptop, I got a phone, 2 phones. So this week I really just need a break for them and to just focus on me.
I mean, I can't applaud that enough.
I am surprised, but whoa, good for you.
I almost cussed.
I almost fell out of my chair.
Thanks a lot, guys.
Like, for real. I mean, we love you. You know we love you, but good God, Leticia, are you really you? Have you been body snatched?
I have to, guys. I'm bringing on more corporate clients, but I'm exhausted. And so this week, I feel like I just need a me day, at least a me day on the weekday. Let me just put that out there for you. A me day on a weekday. Just to, just be me, pay attention in the room. Not to say that I don't, but normally I'm checking my email, I'm not even checking my phone. On Friday, I have no plans to check that phone at all.
Love it. Okay, I love it. Because I believe in No Talk Friday. So, all right, I love it. I love it. Okay, so super proud. I'll tell you more later at the meeting, but super proud. Just know that.
Thank you.
Okay, Shawana, what is at least one thing that you're going to do this week to work on your business and not just in your business?
Is to continue on what you saw me do. Of course, with me, everything is content. So content is every day. But with preparing for the challenge, making a few tweaks even on the website, because we already know you do want to push people to your website. So with that coming is tweaking some things on the website to match what is showing up across the other platforms.
Yeah, I talk about perfection. I have been forcing myself to send traffic to my website, even though my homepage looks so full. So yeah, keep pushing. And with that, we'll go to Glow. Glow, what is at least one thing you're going to do this week to work on your business and not just in your business? Uh-oh, you unmuted and then muted.
I'm sorry. Can y'all hear me?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Okay, so I definitely want to try to get some of the videos out from past recordings and place them on my YouTube. I had a couple of people that actually follow, subscribe to me on YouTube, and they asking me like, where's the new content? So it's my place to actually tend there this week.
Love it, love it. And don't you love when people are requesting your stuff? I love that. It's a whole different level. Heather, what is at least one thing you're going to do to work on your business and not just in your business?
Well, tonight is the first night of my writing program. And so I'm just concentrating on getting all the stuff ready for that. So I'm doing that today. And yeah, that's it. That's what I'm doing today.
All righty. All right, Heather. Demetra, we made it all the way back up to you. What is at least one thing you're going to do this week to work on your business and not just in your business?
Social media content.
Love it. Love it.
Simple as that.
Cool beans. Now, why do we ask that question every Monday? What are you going to do to work on your business rather than just in your business? It is because if you are only working in your business, servicing your clients, then what happens is when those contracts end, when your clients leave, you find yourself in a hustle to find more clients, right? But if you're constantly working on your business as well as in your business, then you should have a pipeline of clients waiting, because on your business are the things you do behind the scenes, the organization, the business growth, the marketing, the content, all the things that work on the business and bring about business growth. So that is why that is important. If you need help with that, guess what? DM me for free business strategy. All you have to do is go to Shay Cannon, where you're going to have to apply. Let's put that out there. Apply for your free strategy. Go to shaycannon.info/free strategy and get on my, go ahead and apply. And then when you are approved, you will get on my books we're going to have a one-on-one. And I'm going to tell you, that's worth a bit of money there, because I'm not at all modest. It's some money. So if I'm giving it to you for free, you might want to apply. And so one more thing I want to talk to you guys about before we go, because we're going to be talking about mindset all week, right? So today we talked about the fear of failure, but we broadcast Monday through Thursday. So we got 3 more negative mindsets to talk about this week. But also I want to tell you that you have an opportunity to join me for business planning. A business planning session is only $47. And the amazing thing is the workbook itself is worth $27. So you get me for $20 more, okay? We're going to have it on June the 30th at 7 p.m. Eastern time, because guess what's coming up? July. We're going into Q3. I need to get you ready for Q3. We need to go back to this business planning and make sure that things are the way that they need to be, because we need to be proactive and not reactive. Go to shaycannon.com/planning, PLANNING, so that you can join me for that little price for this workshop, because we're actually going to work. I'm going to tell you how to plan, and then you're actually going to plan. So when you leave, you will have a better idea of what your business is going to be doing in Q3, and that's what you need to be on top of anyway. So join us in the morning for our next show episode. I want to thank Heather and Shawana and Demetra and Glo and Leticia for joining me as guests today. But you can join me as a guest. All you have to do is join the Zoom to be a guest and ask your questions. But we'll be back tomorrow on our topic of negative mindset. So I want you guys to have a great day, and I will see you back here in the morning. Now, as a reminder, on Wednesday and Thursday, the morning show will be pre-recorded. There won't be any guests, so you guys will be relegated to the comments. But I will be in the comments checking on y'all and answering your questions, okay? So don't worry about that. It's going to appear live because it's going through StreamYard, but just remember, it's not live. The Zoom room will not be open, but in the group, the show will go on and the comments will be open. All right, guys, have a great day. I'll see you tomorrow. Tomorrow we are live, but that's our last live day this week. Have a great day. The room is closing in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Have a great day, everybody.